Well, people, thank you. This is a new episode 11 for the Growth Bridge. I'm Ivo-Castillo, your host here in Miami, and this podcast is for entrepreneurs, leaders with strong ties in Latin America who want to understand the Anglo founders, how they think about growth, leadership, and decision making, and how they apply their mindset to your own business. Hi. So today I'm excited because we have Kunal Desai. He's the founder of MealDeals. So hi, Kunal. How are you?
Hey, well, thank you very much for having me on your podcast.
Great. It's a pleasure to having you. The first thing is, can you tell us about a little bit about your background, your role, how you think this bigger picture about MealDeals?
Sure. So my background is actually in finance. I have a master's in financial economics from the Rotman School of Management in the University of Toronto. It's a pretty good school. And I worked on Bay Street for some time doing some investment banking and credit risk management. Eventually, I got into entrepreneurship. And my first business was food trading. So it was in the perishable space. A lot of learning came out of there, learned a new language, and really the fundamentals of how a global business operates. And from there, I pivoted towards marketing. And we ran a marketing company for about 8 years, my co-founder from MealDeals, Mario, and myself. And then over the 8 years, we really observed how the pricing, the value proposition, and the functionality was evolving for a lot of businesses from digital ads and such. And we identified that restaurants were a target that needed some help, especially given the shutdowns around the pandemic, the high use of third-party apps versus direct in-restaurant ordering. So it was something where we felt that we could help them a little bit. And even for us as a user, one of the challenges I had often was when I eat out a lot, I like clean food, I like vegetarian food. It's hard sometimes to find good quality food near you at a good price, especially when you're working or if you're traveling. So it was a very convenient way for people to find local food and drink deals next to them. So we're like, hey, why don't we build a platform that allows me to find what's going on around me for walk-in, dine-in, takeout. And the restaurants that use so many different ways to advertise this, they could all put all that message in one consolidated place. And that's how the idea for MealDeals was born. And it was actually Mario's idea. He had this great idea that, Kunal, I wish we had an app where if I'm walking by a restaurant, all I have to do is just point my phone at it or something, and then I know what's going on there. And, obviously we don't have the widespread internet usage or the VR, AR adoption for that kind of database presentation, but MealDeals was a great pivot around there. So, yeah.
That's nice. Very nice. And where is based?
So our head office is in Toronto, but we are a global app. So MealDeals right now, we have MealDeals Pro or paying customers as we call them all over Canada, in New York City. And in the United Kingdom, we have a partnership with this company called Just Eat Takeaway. They're a large delivery company. They own Skip the Dishes and other partners. So I think they were recently acquired by a Brazilian company. But for them in the UK, they share promotions that they want to put on for third-party apps that they have going on there on Just Eat. So it's a really good way to, also use it to promote MealDeals to the UK market. And on the free tier, we're in more than 50 countries. So all over the world, all you have to do is just go to one URL, open mealdeals.app in any browser, and that's it. You're on your way to finding food and drink specials near you.
That's nice. Do you have a mobile app?
So no mobile app. Everything is web-based. By making it a web-based app, you could still install it on your phone, but it's much lighter. You don't have to download anything. And then for our users, there's no tracking. There's no sign up required. We don't need your phone number. Because the goal was, why don't we give people valuable information without them having to do lots of difficult things or give up their personal information? If internet democratizes information, then why should people have to exchange their data for that? Why not just allow them to find information? And then for restaurants, your best customers live and work close to you. So rather than giving you a new tablet, a new interface of payments or ordering, managing all of that, why don't you just use any browser or your phone or any tablet and just control all the messaging that you put on MealDeals?
Correct. Simplify things.
Exactly.
For sure. And one question. Okay. So in order to this, what is the major shift you are seeing in the industry right now?
Overall, the spending power of people is really low right now. And it doesn't matter if you're in Miami, Toronto, New York, London, Mumbai, Sao Paulo. So given that the consumer is not making a lot of money and they're not spending a lot of, there's been a big decline in sales in a lot of these restaurants and businesses. And then the third party apps, they themselves are not bringing in a lot of traffic just because they're expensive. There's some critical challenges that are difficult to mitigate completely once the food leaves the restaurant and goes into the delivery person's hand. That just exacerbate the problem a little. So I think the biggest shift right now is restaurants are struggling a lot and they're trying to just find ways where how can I feature and promote my business without spending a lot of. There's also a little bit of fatigue on social media where the engagement for content is much lower than what creators are typically used to. That creates a little bit of a negative sentiment and emotion for the creators because, when your hard work was getting, say, 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments, and now you get maybe 100 likes and 10 comments and 1/10 the views, it demoralizes you a little bit, right? And then also the person for whom you're providing these services, they start questioning the value that you're providing to them because they don't necessarily have an in-depth understanding of how these social media platforms and algorithms actually work, what they're pushing. So overall, it is what it is, but there's got to be new ways that are more effective that people could take advantage of rather than just using traditional social media marketing, which is very difficult to compete on. And then a lot of the younger generation, they don't use social media because we have a lot of kids that are early teens, not early teens, I mean like late teens, like 18, 19, 20-year-olds that help create content for us. When we ask these folks, about half of them don't have social media. Half of them do, but half of them don't even use social media, right? So just relying on social media is slightly one-dimensional, given how much visibility you're missing out on. And then when you're deciding where to eat for lunch or where to go, if today is Monday, what really matters is what's available right now close to me. You have to filter through a bunch of stuff to find what's available right now. Kind of defeats or takes away some of the value that you would want from the currentness. And then it's difficult to maintain a good online presence. So many businesses and restaurants don't have good websites, don't have updated websites. They're not maintained easily. And again, they're just difficult to do. They're expensive. They're time consuming. And a restaurant owner's primary focus is running a restaurant, making great food, serving customers. That's what they love to do. It's just, it's been a shift in consumer behavior towards the digital landscape. So they're trying things that they could do to keep up with that.
That's good. And that comes with the other side of the business is how do you are targeting these restaurants? How do you make you interesting in your app?
So for them, it's super easy to use. So acquiring restaurants to use MealDeals, we provide a great value proposition for them in terms of the services we provide, the visibility we create, what it costs them, the ease of use. Like we have an acronym. We say MealDeals is safe for all restaurants. It's simple, it's affordable, it's fast, it's effective. It does everything they need. They can manage everything in real time. We also provide priority support for all our pro customers. So it's a very easy way to get all your local store marketing done using MealDeals.
Are you
That's
using,
really
using it? Sorry, tell me.
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Are you using any type of strategy like outreach? You have your sales team. How do you manage this? Because I think this is the core of your business, right? Try to get as many restaurants to offer more value to your end users, right?
Yes. So, our strategy is omni-channel. We are a marketplace. So to create awareness, we have to do all kinds of advertising. So we have physical ads, out-of-home ads. We do promotional giveaways. We do social media marketing.
Okay.
We have good quality SEO, good product to support the traffic and infrastructure to build all of that. Activations in public, trade shows, corporate meetings, having sale departments, reaching out to other folks through trying to build corporate relationships and partnerships. So, in all channels, attacking people and sales because restaurant owners need in-person sales sometimes. Sometimes they need digital ads. Sometimes they need,
because that's difficult, right?
email reach out. Sometimes they reach out. So that's the thing. Exactly. So it's like a completely versatile mixed channel way of promoting and reaching out and contacting, because how people react is very difficult to predict. And what they will react to is also difficult because on the mood, where they are, what they're doing, they may have a different connection to the message that's being played. There's a lot of variables that go in that apply differently to different folks. And you have to try, and it's a trial and error method as well.
And next question will be saying that, how do you project this app in the next 6, 12 months from now?
That's a really great question. We hope to double our user base in the next 12 months if we can. It'd be wonderful. We're at about 2.5 million users worldwide. So if we can get to about 5 million users globally by the end of 2026, that would be a really wonderful milestone to hit. And then, just increasing our presence to more parts of the United States would be a really wonderful way to, expand and see what's available.
Yeah, and that's a question. How is about Latin America? How you approaching that? How is working, or what is your think about this area, Latin American?
So Latin American market is a great marketplace, and it's really robust and it's growing. However, for us, given that we're a North America headquartered company and we already have 3 big marketplaces right now that we have traction in that still needs attention: Canada, United States, and the United Kingdom. So given that, that between there, we have almost 500 million people, right? Like almost 500 million inhabitants across those 3 regions. So for the next little while, our focus is fairly on those parts. So markets like Latin America and stuff, we do have some MealDeals usage there, but we let it grow through organic channels rather than actively pursuing marketing efforts there. So, a lot of our global growth has been organic. It's just our directed focus efforts are around those 3 principal geographies at the present.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. The fifth question will be, what working well right now and what is frustrating in this landscape that you are having?
Working well is people's reception to MealDeals, seeing the value that it delivers, the use for it, the growth in user base. So obviously there's a demand for it, especially given the time period we're living in with terms of people's purchasing power. And what's been frustrating has also been the same thing is, a lot of businesses are closing. A lot of businesses are having a hard time getting sales and building up client base right now. So that creates a little bit of reservation of, hey, let me do it a little bit later. Money's tight right now, even though it's small. So that's anytime there's economic slowdown, while service benefits people, there's other people who are going to be less willing to buy your services given that there's tightness of money, right? So that's been the most frustrating part.
Yes. I don't want to take more of your time. It's been great. I want to share you first. Thank you for sharing your insight. But once I would like do you give us a feedback about your mindset as entrepreneur, and what is the advice you can give us for this side of the world, for this speaking language, about your journey as entrepreneur and the things that you have to get through, fight, and conquer in this journey?
Entrepreneurship is a difficult road. A lot of people, you read about it on different posts and then you laugh because there's some relevance to it. If you're truly committed to it, there's no I don't have an off switch. Doesn't matter what I'm doing in life. I'm thinking about work, either doing work or thinking about it or strategizing or selling or promoting it. For example, being on the show today, part of it is, again, it's a nice way to get our message across too. So it's that relentless mindset of you just have to show up every single day, keep going. Some days are going to be hard, some days are going to be good, but it's just keeping on pushing and doing it. And then just making sure, that you also understand that you're doing it for the right reasons, what you're doing it for, the value you actually have to add, the end goal that you see for where you're going. Having some of that clarity makes it much easier to determine the aggressiveness or the quality of effort that you have to put in to determine if you want to be an entrepreneur, or would you rather be a critical member of a team that could use the services? Because one of the good things with a lot of entrepreneurs is they have a very good set of skills because they have to do so many different things that they have a very high talent density. Could do a lot of different things. So it's useful sometimes if you feel that, being that relentless 24/7 all the time for long periods, like we're talking decades at a time, is just not exactly your thing. Putting yourself out there constantly, facing a lot of rejection, those are just natural byproducts of entrepreneurship and all the activities involved in starting a new company that nobody knows about. Sometimes it's easier to have a good team in place or more than one person who makes that process easier, understanding where it is, and also just being realistic to yourself and seeing what the market is telling you regarding whether or not the product is actually a good product. A lot of times entrepreneurs have a product, but there's different messaging that the market provides. One of my old mentors shared this one thing with me. If you have a good business, typically within 3 months, you should know if you can make money from it or not. And it's not the truest of indicators, but it's not a bad indicator where, like, if you're struggling and constantly doing something for so long, and if you're noticing some trends, then just use your instinct, your ability to understand what skill sets you have. Like, for me, my partner is the one who's an engineer. He's a chief technology officer and manages the entire platform and everything. So knowing that he is a part of the team allows me to do my part much easier, right? So sometimes having that kind of luxury of having a good co-founding team, and that's where I said, right, sometimes you don't always have to do it by yourself. If you feel that as an entrepreneur, the hustle is great, but it's not working, maybe consider, reaching out to other entrepreneurs and seeing, if you can partner up and stuff. And you'll be surprised that, if there's a fit, a long run fit and a willingness to suffer, good things can happen.
That's nice. That's very good advice. Well, Kunal, thank you very much for your time. This, I think, this is going to be wonderful for our audience. It's a lot I have to learn, and I don't know anything else you have to want to add.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. I appreciate
Thank you
you,
very
man.
much. I
And hopefully
appreciate it.
your
Okay.
audience gets some value from this.
Yes, I'm sure it will. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Bye bye.